many people enjoy shopping and getting out and enjoy the city rather than getting out and enjoying nature? Alright, well, I feel that nature is a real important thing and it needs to be taken care of more than it should be. Urban sprawl is a major deal taking place right now that many people aren't aware of. It's taking place right under our noses, and it's really beginning to hurt Indiana forests. There are organizations out there that are trying to prevent urban sprawl from taking place, but we also need other people's help. One that stands out to me is the Whitewater Valley Land Trust, which is an association that fights to preserve Indiana's wildlife and prevent urban sprawl as much as possible. The Whitewater Valley Land Trust was established on February 2nd, 2006, and since has done a good job at preserving Indiana's wildlife. The Whitewater Valley Land Trust Association buys land to preserve it from urban sprawl. In other words, it buys land that we can preserve the woods so that other people don't come along and try to plant or try to build businesses such as what Kohl's did and other things like that. They do this by putting it in a land trust, which is a non-profit organization that protects land and water resources for public benefit. Urban sprawl and how it is taking over. Urban sprawl is the uncontrolled spread of urban development into neighboring regions. Indiana has been struggling with urban sprawl since the 1800s. Since then, it has increased dramatically. Over 85% of Indiana's wetlands have been drained or filled in order to be used for other purposes, such as housing and commercial developments. Statistics from Lake County up near Lake Michigan show that during the 1990s, 18,000 new houses were created, while 11,000 were still vacant or demolished. Muncie was listed as the 10th most likely city to shrink in sprawl. In other words, Muncie's population is decreasing, yet more surrounding land is being used for new developments. On October 3rd, 2005, they began to log out Hayes Arboretum to build a shopping center. They logged out 33 acres of beautiful forest to place more shopping centers, which could have been used in different ways. Another prime example of urban sprawl that took place was in New York City. All of New York is buildings and skyscrapers, but right in the middle of it is Central Park. The reason it is there is because someone decided to put it into a land trust. And that way the land could never be touched. And you see what happened. They decided just to build all around it and take over. All of these examples are prime examples of what is taking place and why it needs to be stopped. What the Whitewater Valley Land Trust is doing to prevent urban sprawl in Indiana. Since 2006, the Whitewater Valley Land Trust has preserved over 2,000 acres of our valley's woodlands. The most recent purchase of land was on Inslee's Road just south of Richmond. If anyone knows where Elkhorn Lakes is, it's just right up the hill from there. They purchased this 99 acres and have since began to plant 85,000 trees on this property. By the year 2020, this 99 acres will have the look of a forest, a haven for wild turkeys, deer, and many neotropical songbirds that are only seen infrequently, such as robins and others like that. Also, by the year 2020, these 99 acres of trees will be taking in up to 100,000 tons of carbon dioxide each year. Also, these forests being preserved will be targeted to provide habitat for the Indiana bat, which many may not pay attention to, but is declining in dramatic numbers due to WNS, which is white nose syndrome. Here I have a map of just south of Richmond near RPNL. All this woods, as you see right here, some of this isn't, but mainly this whole area right here is preserved in a land trust. And that land is owned by the state, or the president of the Whitewater Valley Land Trust, Michael Hoff. And he's doing the best he can to preserve this, and he's trying to get members, people to join, people to donate land, and all, just to help save Indiana's wildlife, which is disappearing. Another thing the Whitewater Valley Land Trust is doing, which is only doing for the land that they own, but they're going through and trying to eliminate bush honeysuckle, which is a plant that is just taking over everything. It takes over the ground. It makes it so no vegetation under can grow, no trees can be growing up through it. It's just a plant that's pointless. And like if you go out back into Springwood, all you see back there is bush honeysuckle. You see a few trees in it, but those are what was before. In the end, the Whitewater Valley Land Trust is doing everything it possibly can to save forests in the state of Indiana. Their goal is to try and end the production of urban sprawl and look at other greener choices to preserve the Indiana forests. From the information given, it is obvious to see that the urban sprawl is taking over, and we can help preserve Indiana's land by looking into land trusts. So no matter how you see it, it needs to be stopped. Any questions?